What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another match review as Spurs lost 4-3 at Anfield yesterday in a crazy game of football. You got to say that. Eventful game of football, refereeing decisions, ding-dong battle, goals at each end. I mean, it was absolutely nuts, that game yesterday. It was hard to kind of catch your breath, and for the first stages of the game, you just thought, you know, more of the same. Spurs are just letting us down once again. It looks as though it was like a bit of a deja vu from Newcastle. You're thinking, oh, is it going to be worse than Newcastle? 3-0 down after, 15 minutes or whatever it was. But, I mean, madness just ensued on that football pitch. And why is it every single time we play Liverpool, not even just at Anfield, but every single time we play Liverpool, we're sitting here talking about crazy refereeing decisions and crazy missed chances?
And crazy mistakes more often than not as well. It's just, it's the Liverpool curse. For the last few years, it's just been crazy how unlucky we have been against Liverpool every single game. We always seem to be the better team. We always seem to create loads of chances, really gilt-edged chances. We really always seem to be like really in the game. And every time in the night, how many times in the 90th minute have they beaten us at Anfield? Happens every single year, pretty much. Last season being one of the exceptions. Every single season we concede a last-minute winner at Anfield. It's so frustrating. It's like you can't even get excited anymore when you're in the game, because you just know that last-minute goal is coming. Didn't stop us yesterday. They can tell you that, but it was a classic yesterday. It has to go down as a Premier League classic for sure.
Yeah, look, it was a great game of football, but look, let's take it play by play. Start from the beginning, where the shit show kind of started. A few minutes in, I mean, what is going on with this Tottenham defending? Trent Alexander-Arnold is in acres of space on the edge, the right-hand side edge of the box. I mean, how can you let Trent have so much space when you literally know he is the most dangerous player to let have the ball with time and space in that area of the pitch? He lets the cross come in. I think who should have gone to him? Probably Højbjerg. The ball comes in.
Son was closest to him.
You can either argue Son or Højbjerg, but one of them should have got to them for sure. The ball comes in, and Pedro Porro is just caught completely sleeping. Jones at the back post, and he finishes it 1-0. But that defending. First of all, how do you let Trent?
It was more like fencing than defending.
Yeah,
you're right.
Literally. More like Trent being completely free, and then Jones. It's like just criminal defending.
And I just don't understand how we were so deep in those early exchanges, as you say. We had Son, Davis, Perisic, all in those deep positions. All three of them went to hound Salah. Salah finds Trent completely free because they're all over him. So he has time and space to measure the cross. And then we have all these defenders in the box. We have Romero and Porro marking one player, and it leaves Curtis Jones completely free. So you have like this kind of catalogue of errors where Tottenham are very deep yet completely disorganised going back, and also lacking aggression in terms of confronting players. So they've got time and space, there's no organisation. Like, how can you have play five at the back and yet look so open? No one tracking their men, no one doing the basics of defending, and it was just atrocious. And the whole point of playing a five at the back, if you're going to play in this defensive way, is that so you have players in these positions to pick up attackers, so you're not exposed at the back, and so you have numbers there. But it made absolutely no difference for us having the numbers there, because they found it even easier than they might have did a back four to find the space. It was incredible.
Yeah, and that was after 3 minutes. Shocking defending. 2 minutes later, we're at it again. Eric Dyer completely lets Cody Gakpo in behind. He pulls it back to Diaz, where Romero should have been a lot tighter to him. And it's 2-0 within the space of 5 minutes. And you're just thinking, oh my days, we're here again. It's like deja vu, Groundhog Day once again. 2-0 down after 5 minutes. And I don't get these defenders. How does Dyer just let Gakpo just peel around the back of him, no questions asked? Why is Romero not getting tighter to Luis Diaz? I mean, it's just a shit show again.
And I would say even before that, Davis and Perisic are not getting anywhere near tight enough to Salah, allow him to play the ball in behind to Gakpo. It allows Salah to wait for Gakpo to make the run. Dyer falling asleep. Romero, look, Luis Diaz is a very quick attacker, so he got in front of him, and it was a great finish, to be fair. I don't know how he got it in from that angle. It was into the near post, but Romero should be more alive to the situation. He just seemed to allow Diaz to get the run on him without having that sense of urgency to make sure he got the block in. At least if you're going to allow Diaz to get in front of you and get the shot off, you have to at least maneuver your body so you're blocking the shot. If you're not going to get the tackle in, if you know you're not going to get to the ball first, you have to make sure you're getting in front of Diaz so that he can't get the shot on target. You're blocking it. There was no urgency there from Romero as well. And it was just, again, we were very deep. We were just all over the shop. It was so easy for Liverpool to waltz into our box. They didn't have to do anything special. Gakpo makes a run off the Dyer's blind side, and Diaz makes a run at the near post. It was a good move, but it was nothing like particularly amazing about it. We're just falling asleep at the back yet again. And after what happened last week at St James's Park, like, to start a game after 5 minutes like that is criminal.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And then a few minutes later, 15 minutes into the game, Trent Alexander-Arnold plays a straight pass down the middle of the park. Eric Dyer comes to engage, but instead of engaging the ball, he engages Salah and takes Salah out of the game. But that means that the ball completely bypasses Dyer and Salah, and it falls to Gakpo, and Romero just basically takes him out pretty much. And it's a stonewall penalty, and Salah does the business straight down the middle, and Fraser Forster goes the wrong way. But what is Eric Dyer doing? What is he doing? Like, the ball is coming straight towards him. Literally, the ball is coming straight towards him. All he needs to do is take a step out and engage the ball and bat it down the field, or take a pass, or just get it anywhere apart from where it is right now. But instead, he just takes out Salah for some reason.
He just allows the ball to get through. It's nonsense defending again. I thought he had an absolute dreadful day again. Romero, I don't know why is he going to ground? There was literally no need to go to ground in that situation. Again, he's got a rush of blood to the head. There is no need. He could have easily stood up and made the challenge. Gakpo's very clever, very quick feet, able to get around him. But I think all around, again, the ball through there's nothing special about that ball through from, I think it was from Trent. I think it's actually, in fact, it's like a bobbling ball through. It's actually not the best pass anyway. Dyer should have intercepted it. Romero should be standing up, and then again panicking at the back. We give away a penalty, and it's 3-0 in no time.
15 minutes, 3-0, and then a few minutes later after that, Skip makes a challenge on Luis Diaz. Studs up on the ankle, not even booked. And you're thinking, like, that day could have even gone from terrible to absolutely atrocious. And do you think Skip should have been sent off?
It's not a good challenge. I think it's like it's just on the borderline of being too high to be a definite red. It definitely should be the foul and a yellow card minimum, 100%. I don't know, the referee didn't even give a foul, let alone a card, which was bizarre, to be honest. I think it was just about low enough that you could justify giving away a yellow in that situation. If it was a red, I don't think he can completely complain. I don't think it gets overturned from VAR. But I think in that situation, I don't think it was a situation, in my opinion, that it was a stonewall red card. I think you could probably see it in either way. He probably gets away with it a bit because it was a bad challenge. But I think you can probably say that he could probably get away with the yellow there.
I think with those situations, you have seen them given before, to be honest. And I think he was lucky to stay on the pitch. But, the second red card call that we'll talk about a bit later was definitely much more stonewall than that one, that's for sure. But I did think Skip got lucky, definitely to avoid a booking, but potentially to avoid a red as well. But then Spurs started coming into the game. Liverpool sat off us a little bit. They kind of stopped playing. Spurs grew into the game. Skip played an absolutely stunning ball down to Perisic. Perisic completely does Van Dijk and gets a beautiful cross in. Harry Kane on the volley through the keeper's legs, and it's 3-1. And you're thinking it's just the consolation. Spurs get one back before half-time. But moments later then Kulusevski gets played through on goal. And Kulusevski, just before the half-time, he has Kane to the left of him where he should have passed it. Kane would have had an open goal. But instead he takes a shot and it's straight at Alisson. And you're thinking, if that one goes in, Spurs are really in the game. But we did grow in that game, latter stages of this first half, didn't we?
Yeah, because even before Kane scored, Son, we were pressing a bit higher. They give the ball away to Kane, and he's able to play Son for on goal, and he gets a shot cleared off the line. Son then also runs in behind from a Højbjerg ball over the top, and I mean, it probably is offside anyway, but he does hit the post. It shows warning signs again. Son trying to stretch them with his pace, and then we did get the goal. So the goal didn't come out of the blue completely. It was a consequence of Tottenham growing in the game. I would say if you look at all the chances we created at the back end of that half, a lot of it was to do with complacency from Liverpool, sloppiness. The Kulusevski chance, he robs Robertson on the ball under no pressure. I mean, obviously he's pressuring him, but he's got time to get rid of it, and Kulusevski's able to nip in and tackle. I've seen the chance again, and everyone says he should have passed it. I mean, there was a chance he could have passed it, but I think Liverpool actually did shut it down very quickly, and I did think the shot was probably that when he did take the shot at that moment, that was the better option, but he did have a chance to pass it probably
because he delayed it, that's why.
He probably did. Yeah, he probably did have a chance, but I think actually it was harder. The pass was harder than people give it credit for. But the finish, he could have done better, a bit more power on it. Got to get in the corner. It was a good save from Alisson. So there were definitely chances apart from the goal as well, which were Tottenham growing the game. But as I say, like Liverpool definitely getting complacent. They just seemed like their game was won, essentially. Klopp was saying that after the game, how they were just getting complacent. The crowd seemed like the game was over as well. They stopped singing, like it was very quiet. It was a bit like a dead game. And for about 20 minutes after they scored the first goal, up until I think Son went through, there was like a 20-minute period where we were like, look, let's just not concede any more goals. We weren't really going forward. Liverpool were just playing it around the back for 20 minutes. I don't think they had too many. I think they didn't have another shot after they went 3-0 up in that whole half. So I think that goes to show where the game was at. So I think it was more, in my book, it was more Liverpool allowed us back in the game rather than Tottenham playing their way back in the game, although we did play our way back in the game as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty spot on analysis. You know, Liverpool let us in the game, but you got to credit Spurs for the way we dragged ourselves back in the game as well. And you got to say that Fraser Forster, after the first 15 minutes, he hardly got called upon up until the very last minute.
Well, the fact of the matter is, Liverpool had 4 shots on target the whole game and scored 4 goals. There you go. That's case in point.
Yeah. So anyway, half time happens, second half starts, and I thought Liverpool did start the half a bit on top, but once we did get ourselves into that second half, we were creating chances, man. We really were, and it seemed as though that second goal was never going to come at one point. But Kulusevski plays a lovely ball with the outside of the foot, feeds Sonny in behind. Sonny checks outside Konate to his right, a lovely curling shot, smashes against the post. So that's one of the chances. Kane plays a lovely ball over the top to Romero. Romero volleys it. That hits the other post. And you're just sitting here thinking, this ain't happening today, is it? This is the curse of Anfield all over again. And how many chances can we miss?
Yeah, you'll probably think at that point, look, we probably had our chances. And also the game went again after that moment, it went a bit dead, for a good 10, 15 minute period. And you're thinking, look, Tottenham, if we come away with this 3-1, all right, I mean, it's not a complete embarrassment like it was last week. Liverpool probably happy with the 3 points. So it seemed as though that's the way it was heading, to be honest, after those missed chances, despite Tottenham giving it a good effort. You probably, if the game ends at that point, you're probably thinking, look, Tottenham get that 3-0 down, did show a bit of, show something. They showed a bit of effort to try get back in the game. Unlucky, they're hitting the post twice. What can you do? And that will be that. But we did get back in the game near the end. Yeah, and
you got to give credit to Mason as well, because he changed up the system. He took off Kulusevski, brought on Pape Matar, changed up the system a little bit, and then I thought we kind of started going on the attack again and started creating chances again. Romero, lovely ball over the top, by the way, from Romero to find Sonny in behind. Sonny made no mistake this time, slotted it in the back of the net, 3-2 with just over 10 minutes to go, and really set it up for a grandstand finish. And then what happened after that was Jota. Studs up in Skip's face. How the hell, in what world is that not a red card?
Yeah, I think it's mad. It was a mad decision not to give him a red card. Look at if you look how high his foot is. Sometimes I think players can like stoop low and put their like kind of head in danger in a way where it's like you can't really call for a high boot because the player is stooped rather than the player giving a high foot, which has put them in danger. But in this situation, you look at how high Jota's foot is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Literally, Skip is literally going for a header like he's like jumped for it, and Jota has his foot all the way up there. And he not only does he have he's got a massive gash which he's forced off with because of how bad it is. It's textbook dangerous play from Diogo Jota. I don't know how if he didn't make that much contact with Skip, I think you could maybe get away with a yellow card. But the fact that he studded him in the face, he's forced him off. It's a terrible, terrible gash he has on his face after that.
Skip?
No, he didn't. He went straight off after that. It was a treatment for a good couple, 2 or 3 minutes because of it. I just don't understand how they justify a yellow card in that situation. It was a stonewall red.
And after the game, Jota said, it was not good. Obviously, it was not my intention to cause any harm to him, but unfortunately it happened. I asked him sorry. That's all I could do after that bad tackle. But I also think it's not a red because I touched the ball and there was no intention to cause any harm.
You touched the ball, but you studded him in the face. It was ridiculous.
What is that?
It's like I touched the ball, but I broke his leg. So I don't think it's a red card because I wasn't intending to.
It's ridiculous, though.
Like, come on. Come on, guys! Like this, it's a stonewall red. I think the referees had a howler there. And in terms of VAR, people are criticising VAR in this situation. I actually don't think they can intervene here because the referee has seen it for himself,
and he gives the yellow.
So the VAR's job. People misunderstand what VAR's job is. VAR's job is not to say you got that decision wrong. It's to make sure the referee hasn't missed anything. So if the referee's seen that challenge himself and made that call that this is a yellow card, he's seen the boot to the face. VAR can't say actually I think you're wrong. I think that boot to the face is actually a red because the referee's made that decision himself. If the referee never saw any contact and didn't give a foul, then VAR can intervene and say, look, you missed this. There was a stud in the face.
But what's the ref seeing there to give a yellow card?
He saw how Jota saw it.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's mad. I think he's made a howler. It's a bad mistake.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
how the game unfolded is just cruel irony. I guess.
And probably only happens to Spurs in that cruel way. But straight after that red card, I mean, Richarlison gets the wrong side of Konate. Konate brings him down. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a stonewall penalty.
Yeah. I think he had 2 hands on him. People will argue, oh, it's soft, but I think he drags him down. I think Richarlison might be getting on the end of that if it wasn't for Konate dragging him. Konate was starting to panic before that as well.
He was starting to foul after foul.
Yeah, and we were starting to really put pressure on them at that point. And yeah, obviously Richarlison came on for Skip, and he was causing them trouble. It was a good cameo from Richarlison, to be fair. And I thought that, yeah, for sure, that was a foul. And I think we got really unlucky that wasn't given.
Yeah, really unlucky. So that kind of like 3 minute, 5 minute period in the game where they should have had a sending off. We should have had a penalty. And then at that stage, I know I was saying, oh, we really thought it was never going to come. At that stage, you're like, right, this game is really not going to happen, not going to fall for us. And then moments later, Sonny drifts in a free kick and Richarlison gets the slightest of touches, which loops over Alisson and the equaliser in stoppage time, 3-3. And we're going mental here in the studio, pandemonium in the away end. I'm sure everyone's seen the clips by now. And you're thinking we're on our way to a memorable draw.
Yeah, because 3-0 down, no one's ever come back from 3-0 down and earn a point at Anfield before in Premier League history. I think the fight we showed was incredible considering the situation surrounding the club and surrounding these players and it's just it's a mad story when you think about it. How we reacted to the Newcastle game. And the change in attitude from conceding those early goals to this game where we just kept ourselves in it and we're able to drag ourselves back in the game. It was tailor-made for that kind of story. And it was I was so proud of the team for dragging themselves back into the game. And ultimately, at that point, it looked like we're earning a point. Richarlison as well, with his first Premier League goal. Everyone was saying he's going to get his first Premier League goal at Anfield to get a point or get a win or get a point. And it came to pass as well. I thought it was a great cameo from him. He was obviously absolutely delighted at scoring as well, and it was just a great moment, and it seemed as though we'd earned ourselves an amazing point in the circumstances, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, because just a few minutes before we did score, Spurs make a double change, don't they? They bring on Danjuma, they bring on Lucas Moura, Porro and Perisic goes off. And just after that goal, seconds after the goal pretty much, we're still celebrating here in the studio. Alisson smashes the ball upfield. It's a relatively easy ball for Moura to deal with, to be fair. All he had to do was either punt it down, pass it to someone.
Could have taken the touch, could have brought it down.
Anything that you pretty much did. And what he does, he tries to make a cute pass to Romero. It's overhit and Jota's in behind and he makes no mistake. The guy who should not be on the pitch, you can't really write it. And Moura is the villain once again. He's played 5 minutes in his last 2 games for Spurs. In the Everton game, he comes on with a minute to go and gets sent off with a disgusting challenge. We go on to draw the game. And in this one, he comes on at 3-2 down. We get the leveller just after he comes on, and then he goes and does that. I mean, what are you doing, Lucas Moura? Basically, single-handedly ruined all the hard work that we put in after going 3-0 down.
100%, and it was heartbreaking, that moment. Everyone's consoling about full time, but I was just furious, to be honest, because it's just so careless. It was just what he did was just, I mean, and I know it happens in football that you can't that sometimes those mistakes happens, but in that moment, to give the goal away like that, we'd worked so hard, we'd made no mistakes in that second half defensively. And we just chucked it all away just in that one single moment. It's so frustrating and so heartbreaking for those players. And totally unnecessary as well for him to be on the pitch. Because I thought Porro was having a great game in the second half. I thought he was really growing in influence. I thought he was, every time he was getting on the ball, he was whipping in really dangerous crosses, which were causing Liverpool problems. They couldn't deal with him, I felt, at times on that right-hand side. And I thought it was completely unnecessary to take him off there. I don't know. I know we put Moura at right back, and I didn't understand that at all. And his only contribution to the game was that horrendous pass, and it cost us dearly. And it's just so hard. I know, like in the grand scheme of things, the point wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been that important anyway. Although it would have put us in a better position for the Europa League spot, but it's just in terms of like the attitude for the team and how much that would have meant getting that point there under those circumstances. It's just so hard to take that. It just got all chucked away, and you can see after the game, Mason and Kane were just fuming at the fact that they had dragged themselves back in the game and it was all chucked away for nothing, essentially. Yeah. And they found it very hard to take, you could see.
Yeah, and I think we all did, to be honest. I mean, it's not just that, what Moura did as well, the refereeing decisions that went against us as well. I mean, it just seems like every time we play Liverpool, the footballing gods just all conspire against us, and something like this, maybe not this dramatic, but something along these lines always seem to happen to us.
Yeah. Happens every time. We've had own goals galore in last minute of games at Anfield. We've had last minute one-on-one chances that we tend to miss. We've had bad refereeing decisions in the Champions League final. Liverpool is just a cursed club when we play against them. It's unbelievable.
Even the one when Robinson should have been sent off at the Tottenham Hotspur or Wembley, I can't remember which one it was, a few years back.
Yeah, Robinson should have been sent off. There's so many examples when we play against Liverpool of strange things like that happening. And I remember even saying, like, during the game at 3-0, like, we're not even going to get the Anfield curse this time. Because we're 3-0 down, we seem to drag ourselves back in the game just so we can have the curse. That's what we did. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how cursed we are at Anfield. Well, maybe we'll do a video of every single time we've been cursed, but it's going to be a long video.
But, you know, it's hard to know like how to feel after that game, because like you've had like the ultimate embarrassment of going 3-0 down again after 15 minutes, and then you've got the pure joy and elation of getting back from 3-0 down to 3-0 at Anfield, where no one's ever done that before in the Premier League, and then they just kick us in the teeth one last time during the game right at the end. And I mean, it's hard to know like how to feel after that game.
That's what's called being a Tottenham fan. Essentially, you never know how to feel. It's essentially, it's just like the highs and lows of this team. And I think, in terms of like where we are at in the season, and like let's say like since Mason's taken over, there's I think it's slim, but it's probably more positives than negatives. I think you probably take away from this game, considering how we started the game, and the attitude of the players, and how we were able to drag ourselves back in it. But you still can't excuse how we start this game. But I think that the second half was something to be very proud of. We dominated that game. It was more. I think the second half was more about Spurs playing well than Liverpool being complacent, because I didn't think they was complacent in the second half as they were at the latter stage of that first half. But I would say in terms of what Mason must be thinking, obviously he must be really frustrated and fuming that they didn't get any points, but he must be happy of the attitude, and that probably will signal something positive for him for the remaining games. Maybe he can get some good results, in my opinion. But I mean, these starts to games. I know you're not going to be going to St James's Park and Anfield every week, so you're not going to. Hopefully, we're not going to. Go to Villa Park and be in the same position, or Leeds and be in the same position. But you can't, in these big games, we can't excuse when you concede 3 goals in 15 minutes and 5 in 20, then you can't complain about anything. Even when you bring in refereeing decisions, all these kind of stuff, and even when you do the comebacks, like, you only have yourself to blame when you have that kind of start to a game, because whatever you want to say about whatever happens in the rest of the game, you could play amazingly for the rest of the game. At the end of the day, you're 3-0 down, and you've given yourselves too much to do, essentially, and 9 times out of 10. So I think we can be proud of how we reacted to being 3-0 down in that situation. But this team need to realise that how you start games is ultimately you reap what you sow, essentially.
Yeah, and when you're looking at it now, after Conte got sacked, left or got sacked, whichever way you want to look at it, after the Southampton game. After that game, we've drawn with Everton, beaten Brighton, lost to Bournemouth, Newcastle, drawn to Manchester United, and lost to Liverpool. Do you reckon there's something in it where if we would have sacked the whole team, Stellini included and all them, and brought in Ryan Mason straight after that Southampton game, it would have given us a better chance of getting that top 4?
Definitely. I think we definitely beat Everton if we have Mason in charge. And I think we win that game. Bournemouth we probably win as well. So I think that's already 4 extra points in my book. That takes us to 60, and all of a sudden you're not that far behind. Now obviously it's completely gone. We know that for sure. He definitely would have. I still think we would have missed out, but I do think that we would have given ourselves a better opportunity. And I didn't know. We said it at the time. I didn't understand why we bothered keeping Stellini. I just think that the hierarchy thought, look at what Stellini did in his games at caretaker, and we've got the best chance just by keeping him. But I think they completely misjudged that. And we're seeing now under Mason, the players are definitely much more up for playing for him and running for him than they were for Stellini. And we're seeing a lot more on the ball quality in terms of chance creation and things like that, and opening teams up. We're doing much better now than in the last 2 games that we have for a long time, to be honest. So obviously the defence has to be put right. He's not going to do that over a couple games. It takes time, and I don't know whether he'll get the chance to do that. But at least on the ball, we look far better at the moment than we did under Stellini and Conte at times.
Yeah, and it was like it was getting to a stage under Stellini, under Conte, where you didn't know where the next win was coming from. And now with our last 4 games, Palace at home, Villa away, Brentford at home, and Leeds away, are you confident or are you hopeful that maybe we can finish the season a bit stronger now?
I can see a few wins there. I wouldn't be surprised if we, beat Palace at home. I know because they're safe now, so they maybe take the shackles off, and if it's an open game, that might suit Tottenham. Villa away is going to be very difficult, to be honest, but I wouldn't be surprised if we pull a surprise in that game, to be honest. I know they're on great form, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised because we've the way we've changed, and I don't think they're as good offensively as Newcastle and Liverpool. So look, I think we can have a good end to the season. Whether that be enough for even a top 6 place at this point is up in the air because it's out of our hands at the moment. So we have to rely on other results, even for top 6. That's how bad it's got. So I'm hopeful, much more hopeful now on the evidence of the last 2 games than beforehand, that we can have a solid end to the season. I just don't know if it'll be enough.
Yeah, it's definitely a big worry. I mean, I just don't want to be left in that Conference League for next season. I'd prefer to just lose every game and finish 8th, to be honest. But It looks as though when you're looking at the fixtures of Liverpool, maybe it's all going to come down to that Aston Villa game, isn't it?
That could be a Conference League playoff.
Well, Villa, and we're in 6th, Villa in 7th. I mean, I guess you've got Brighton there as well with 3 games in hand. But yeah, you're probably right there. Let's look at Brighton's fixture. I mean, they got
tough ones. They got tough fixtures.
Man United next. They got to go to Arsenal. They got to go to Newcastle. They got to go to Villa. Villa last game of the season. They got to go to
Brighton Villa last game. Look, I guess top 6 is not completely dead, but we're still relying on other teams. That's the reality. So
their last 2 games are City at home and Villa away.
Yeah. True. They might have a very tough end to the season. To be fair, Brian, they might.
I think
struggle.
We can finish above Brighton this season.
But we still need to. We probably need to win at least 2 or 3 games. I would say.
Yeah.
To make sure of that, because I still see Brighton pulling off a few surprises. Like just because they got like Man United at home, Newcastle. Like they might win one of those, and because of how good they are. So
and we got to go to Leeds last game of the season, and that could be a massive game for them. Massive game for them. So that's not going to be easy. And obviously Villa away. I mean, I don't really have any confidence of going there and getting anything, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, I think Villa are great. They've been in a great run, but I wouldn't be surprised if we go there and surprise a few people, to be honest. Because I saw them struggle yesterday against Man United, and I think
It was Old Trafford, though.
It was Old Trafford, but they did struggle. They struggled to even create a chance, and against a team like we created a lot of chances against Man United.
But again, we were at home, and Man United are terrible away from home recently.
I know, but still, they got a makeshift defence. I would have thought Villa would create more chances against them. They didn't, which was surprising. So look, I think we obviously have. I think we have the better team. So I wouldn't be surprised if we go there and surprise a few people.
All right. Well, I guess we'll leave it there for the match review. Player ratings will be with you very soon. But thank you everyone for joining today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on.